Greetings all, it's Blue Knight, and welcome back to Ratchet Clank, going Commando. Previously, we went through the Fountain system, otherwise known as Quadrant 32A, at one point in development. And we conquered all of its challenges, but most importantly, we gained coordinates by taking down the rendezvous and finding out where the thief's next location is. On planet Notak, in addition to going through a bunch of challenges that the system had for us shortly after completing our main objective. Today, we're going to waste no time and head for the Canal City in order to search for it to find the thief.
So, how's the reception out here?
We have sports, weather, ooh, the Science Channel.
Keep going. Whoa, what's that?
The man, the myth, the legend, the loser. Captain Quark, once the idol of everyone in the galaxy, has finally hit rock bottom. After his humiliation at the hands of Ratchet and Clank, Quark sold bogus merchandise he claimed were Gadgetron products. But a key defect in this product, the personal hygienator, caused severe irritation in sensitive body areas and alerted authorities to Quark's scam. Behind the Hero will return after these messages.
Well, that explains a lot.
Yes, I suppose it...
All this time, my personal hygienator must have been causing that itch.
Anyway, we should be at our destination shortly.
Too late again.
We always seem to be a bit late. Why is that?
Well, let's check this place out and find out where he's headed.
Oh sure guys, blame the player for wanting to be a completionist. Man, you just want to get everything in the game and the characters are staring at you trying to get all uppy about it. Some characters, right? Some heroes these guys are. Don't go blaming me just because that I'm taking my time getting everything I want in the game just so I can have my own self-satisfaction and want to complete stuff. You know, now that I say that out loud, I think partially I do have to share the blame. Maybe it is my fault after all, but hey, I'm just going at my own pace here. I'm sure we'll get the thief eventually, at some point, hopefully. Otherwise, Ratchet will get paid for this, will he? Wait, come to think of it, is Ratchet getting some reward out of this for helping out Fizzwidget getting the experiment back? I don't recall Fizzwidget offering him any reward. Maybe Ratchet's doing this out of the good of his own heart. Or maybe there is some reward he is gonna get after he does complete his job. I don't know. Also, I didn't think that Chicken Bum would walk off the ledge like that. I've never seen that happen before. That's the first. Anyways, we're on planet Notak now. And even though we missed the thief, we can still scrounge around this place to, I'm sure, get something out of the deal here. But not only that, we also got more items unlocked in the weapons vendor. Most importantly, the Synthanoid, a robotic assistant that can be pretty helpful for us to acquire. Unfortunately, it does cost quite a bit. I'm surprised I almost have enough to purchase it. Wow, I'm really impressed we have that many bolts. We're only, what, 801 behind the acquired price? That's pretty impressive, all things considered. But what I really want to get, besides ammunition, is the pulse rifle, just 20,000 bolts, and the mini turret glove. And since we do have a lot of items on hand now, well, I can use that to use the zooming feature. Hold R1 and press hold L1, press R1 to zoom in, and press R2 to zoom out when using the pulse rifle. The game says as I don't have the pulse rifle equipped at all. I mean, it's not even my quick select menu, because I have too many items on hand that I can't fit the pulse rifle into my current artillery. As I was gonna say before I got interrupted, since we have so many items on hand now, I'm gonna do what I did back in Ratchet 1 and start implementing a weapon set. So I can have the optimal, at least in my opinion, the optimal loadout for each level going forward, depending on what we're gonna find in that particular planet. So just give me a minute while I reorganize my weapon wheel. So there are a particular amount of reasons why I decided to do this weapon set deal starting from the first game that I want to do for this game as well. First off, to have as many weapons on hand as possible that do need upgrading. The second reason is to have the required gadgets out that will be needed to progress through all the paths on that particular planet. Reason 3 is to streamline the gameplay without having to resort back to my weapons or my gadgets pause menus, so I have to fiddle around and see what I need to have on hand, because I feel like that'll break the pacing of the gameplay if I do that. And the fourth reason is that because we're very limited in our quick select space, I'm trying to determine the best artillery I can have on hand for maximum effectiveness. In the past, I've just seen a lot of Ratchet Clank playthroughs that will pause the game and then go to the weapons or the gadgets like that, so they have to fiddle around with what they actually need for that particular level. And I just feel like doing this kind of limitation for myself not only will challenge myself as a player and a veteran of these kinds of games, but also, like I said, I think it just helps streamline the pacing for its maximum potential with having minimal interruptions. That's kind of why I've done that. And if I have to play more Ratchet Clank games in the future, which chances are I likely will, I'm a pretty big fan of this franchise, I will implement that weapon set idea for future playthroughs, but baby steps. For now, we gotta focus on going Commando before I can think of any other future project involving the Ratchet Clank series. So now we have a brand new enemy to take on. Not only are those chicken bots back, but those guys with their, I think those are plasma rifles that they have. Those are the Thugs for Less henchmen. We have seen those guys before. It was back on the Uzla movie that we did see a couple of them accompany the thief when he was trying to get a map for the entire galaxy. Also break these statues. They can squish you if you're not too careful, so don't be under them when they do fall after you do break them. It's happened to me numerous times in the past, and every time it happens, it's because I was being careless of where I was. So these henchmen, they're not that hard to deal with. They do travel in packs most of the time. But as long as you sidestep where they're aiming, then they're not that big of a problem to deal with. I'm trying to make sure I don't have as many upgraded weapons like these two for these weapon sets going forward. But if I can't help it, I'll have still like the Lancer out or the Mini Nuke out, because the further we get into the game, the less effective those two items will be useful for. So not only I can use my Lancer with this, but if we damage this planetoid enough. I think I have to break all of these orbital objects first before I can damage the core itself. That last one in particular is being kinda nosy and pretty annoying to deal with. There we go. Now we can break this thing itself, break down the core, and there we go, we got a skill point. A skill point for being a menace to society, at least this planet's society. The authorities are not going to be happy that we're visiting their planet at all. But hey, I say down with the system. We're not going to be oppressed by the rules. We can do whatever we want, whatever we want, because we're galactic heroes. At least for Solana. We haven't saved Full God, at least not yet. But then again, we're just running an errand for some corporate head of a pretty big and what I assume to be a multi-million, if not billion-dollar company in this galaxy. So our errors are pretty minuscule compared to what we had to go through last time. One little detail I love about those henchmen, we've already seen this before. They end up posing as mannequins to try and surprise you. It's a pretty funny touch that they added. You can blast your cover away easily with something like the pulse rifle. But be sure not to take too long, otherwise as our health increases again. Otherwise, those guys will shoot at you eventually. Just because you're far away from them doesn't mean that they won't take the hits. They will retaliate at some point. A little detail here. This planet uses binary instead of English text for their logos. Well, that's because Insomniac opted not to use English text, otherwise this would have led to them localizing the game for other regions, and the localization process, if you don't know, it's pretty complicated as it is, so they didn't want to make extra work for themselves by using a real-life text for logos like this. So they decided to go for something similar that can also be universal for all the regions that this game came out in. Very smart of them to do, I must say. I wouldn't consider anything like that myself as a consumer of the gaming products. And I know for sure there's something we can find. And it should be over here. There's a second megacorp side that we can blast away. And hide behind that is a platinum bolt. I remember that I found this one purely by accident. I'm pretty sure this was one of the first ones that I did find on my own too. I was really surprised when I did come across it, because I know I passed through that a few times prior in past playthroughs. It's one of those little discoveries that I was proud of finding on my own before I became a constant user of this thing called the internet. You may have heard of it, you might be using it right now. Or else, how else would you be watching this? Unless you watch this telepathically, in which case I'm both impressed and jealous too. Please teach me your ways if you do find a way to watch this other than using the interwebs. I didn't talk about this enemy yet, but that's some kind of attack ship. It doesn't have a particular name attached to it. I think it's just flat out called an attack ship. I'm pretty certain that is part of the Monsterpedia too. Can't use that. The pulse rifle. Guess I'll just opt to use the blitz gun instead. I did say I like it. I have liked it. Well, I do like it. I have said that in the past. But it's kind of running low on ammo as well. I don't think I'll scrouge up enough to the point where the upgrade will kick in, thus causing it to restock its ammunition on its own when that happens. So coming over here wasn't completely fruitless. we got another nanotech extension, or nanotech boost rather. And you might think that could be kind of overwhelming for going down an optional route. Well, I do value health over most things in video games, especially in RPGs. So, as this game kind of acts like a action RPG, I welcome this little gift. But apparently, that particular path would have led you to the gunsled that I mentioned quite a while back. This is where the location of that particular gadget would have been, which I guess would make sense considering that at the end of such a side location or a side route, I guess, is that it would like house such unique a unique item or unique gadget in some way. Also, if you go around that corner over there, you'll be led to another platinum bolt. Another one of these that I did not know about for a while until I found it on my own volition, but that took way longer. Way longer than the last platinum bolt we just got, I can say that much. But yeah, that's where the gunslip would have been, would be the end of the side path that we can take on this planet. Again, it's kind of a shame that that particular gadget did not make it into the game in the end. But then again, it would have allowed us to experience some gimmicky levels that would be for this particular planet, because we're gonna be going through some underwater sections that would have made us be trained how to use the gadgets. And I guess the devs figured it was just way too much hassle for them to use or design a route at all, so that could be another reason why it was led to being scrapped, which is very unfortunate. I also found out that those water sections for the gunsled, they were gonna be auto-scrolling too, so count your blessings, I suppose. I still think it sucks that we didn't get the gunsled at the end, but if it meant that we could do away with auto-scrolling sections, then I'm kinda more for that decision. We'll still use this. We're almost close to upgrading our blitz gun anyways, and let me tell you, when this thing is upgraded, it's gonna be very fun to use, even more fun than it is right now. It's gonna pack a harder punch than before. You need to find a few more enemies to slaughter, so this thing can gather nanobites, and these guys might be it. Some ammo crates here, and sure enough, it's upgraded now. The Blitz gun is no more. Now meet the Blitz cannon. And it goes boom whenever we do fire off a shot. It just sounds harder and it hits harder too. And now the strands, when a shot fires off, when they do come out, they're now firing out lightning bolts. I mean, how cool is that? How can you hate that? There's just nothing wrong about the Blitz cannon at all. And I think this thing also fires at a faster rate than the Blitz gun used to do as well. Like, sometimes you have to wait for the Blitz cannon to cock whenever Ratchet has to go in between shots, but it's not that noticeable even with the Blitz gun. Sometimes you can circumvent it, but with the Blitz cannon, it's even more apparent that you can fire off rapidly. And look at this. I'm firing off constantly by mashing the circle button, and I'm not even waiting for Ratchet to cock in between shots. It is that good. I just want to demonstrate what the Blitz cannon can do before we head over to this dynamo activator. And I'm pretty sure if we get this, I know what's in store for us. I just gotta make it over there first. I'm pretty sure there's a way where you can just not long jump, you can high jump over that activator and head over to the door that that's opening currently. Which is, by the way, another platinum bulb. That's our third one this episode today. That's gotta be a personal best for us. I don't think we got 3 in one episode so far. It's pretty neat. And then we use that, do that, and we'll use the miniature glove. Because it's getting kind of crowded here, I might need a little help. This thing is really good for crowd controls if you throw out multiples at once. But they do act in a very smallish range. Once there's no enemies around, then they just stand around do nothing. And the turns don't last forever either. They'll stay around for a bit before they blow up. Or if there's too much, I guess they just blow up on their own. Anyways, the Blitz Cannon, to reiterate what it does, it can cause more damage and fire faster. Also shoots electricity. And the shots have more of a boom to them, as well as you can fire faster too. But I think I just said that. Well, so fast that you don't have to wait for a Ratchet to like reload in between shots. It's really handy. So I attack ship again. This time I'll use the pulse rifle and blast it out of the sky. Yeah, that's more like it. I can also use a secret gun for the chicken bots. It might not be the most optimal weapon to use against the small swarmer enemies, but it's still effective nonetheless.
Psst. Got a ship that needs, improvements? Worried about getting caught? At Slim Cognitos, your secret is safe with us. Whether it's weapons, shielding, or a new hyperspace module, we'll hook you up quickly, cheaply, and most important, quietly. So next time you're in the market for some legally ambiguous refashioning, remember the name. Slim Cognitos. The only inspections we pass are yours.
Starship mods. Well, a quick visit to Slim's wouldn't cost us much time. Or maybe we should check out that chemical factory. Someone inside might know where the thief was headed.
Ah, Ratchet. Sometimes just thinking for himself a little too much. A simple-minded creature that Ratchet is. It's a good thing he's got Clank around to keep it on the straight and narrow. Though Ratchet has gone through some major character development on his own. I mean, he doesn't get mad at Clank for like the simplest of things anymore, like back in Ratchet 1. Though I guess that was needed for them to like grow as a duo and to strengthen their friendship too. Still, could have handled better that way. But at least the only times that Ratchet does get angry is when he has to defend Clank or help Clank out, which is a massive improvement of how they handle Ratchet's short-fused temper. So now we got quarters of Slim Cognitos, which is where we'll be going to after we take care of that chemical plant. Because we haven't found out where the thief is headed to, and we still need to figure out where that scoundrel's heading. So we're gonna stop here for now after I wipe out these chicken bots. Hey, and to top it all off, we got our nanotech increased again. Yeah, that's a really good way to end things off for today. I cannot think of a better reason to close out the episode. So next time, we're gonna head over to yonder chemical plant off the background to see if there's anyone that knows where the thief is heading next. Until we meet again, farewell for now.